What's going on, YouTube? Hope you're having a good day. Thanks for stopping by the channel and watching this NaNoWriMo video vlog. This is the first NaNoWriMo I'm doing. Right now I'm halfway through writing for my first day. I have a little over 1,000 words, so I figured I'd take a break and do this. It is 4:33 in the morning because I work graveyard shifts, so that's when I'm going to do the majority of my writing. So day one so far is going pretty good. Don't really have a whole lot of prep done because I suck at prepping and I was just feeling super down about it, like, you can't do this, but screw that, I'm doing this. So I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants right now. The story that I'm working on, I'm trying to do like super pulp fantasy, like something along the lines of like Dragonlance or Forgotten Realms. Stuff that I don't know, books that I just feel like are kind of lost in today's day and age, or there's not as many of them, or maybe I'm just not aware of them. But I'm writing it anyways. So I guess I'm going to talk about the story I'm writing so far. I don't, like I said, I didn't do a whole lot of prep, so I don't have an outline or anything, but I want it to be super pulpy, like almost like, oh shit, this could be a D&D game, but it's not going to be. It's not like I'm transcribing a Dungeons & Dragons game. That might be something I want to do sometime down the line. I'm not sure if that would really translate as well as it seems like it would. Yeah, so right now, what I've written is, I have two characters. They're called Mouser and Daynala. Daynala is an elf, she's a sorceress, and Mouser is a half-elf, it's her younger half-brother, and he's really the main character, but I'm bouncing between the two as kind of perspectives. The idea is he was basically banished from the elf home where they are, that I'm just calling elf home for right now because I'm so bad at coming up with names. It's freaking ridiculous. But he was banished for basically just being a human, like, because yes, he's a half elf, but he has more human tendencies. I'm just writing it, so that's kind of like the dominant traits that he has. And he's just kind of mischievous, and he's 30 years old, which by half-elf standards, in this world anyways, like, he's mature enough to be an adult, but the elves definitely see him like he's a young child, basically, still, so there was that kind of dichotomy? I don't know, that might not be the right word, but I don't care. You guys get what I'm trying to say, the difference. So, like, the story picks up right as they're exiting that forest and then heading into a human city. And basically where I am right now is they've arrived at the city and they're at the inn. They've had a small interaction with the barmaid. Daynala was kind of rude because I feel like I'm trying to write this, like, not a hatred of humans into her, but just kind of like a mistrust, a prejudice, just because she's only heard stories about them, and all human stories involve like some kind of violence, like a war or some kind of battle, or like a hero who saves some bandits, and it's like, oh well, there's bandits, why are these things? These are concepts that don't exist in their culture. It's kind of a utopia of a sort. So I'm gonna get back to writing at this point, but I figured it would also be cool to bring up how I'm writing this. Because I have pretty bad carpal tunnel to the point where typing on a computer would cause me great discomfort and pain. And if I did that 2,000 words a day for the next 30 days, I wouldn't have hands. So what I'm having to do is I'm using Google Docs and I'm using my phone to voice to text. So it's making things a little slower. I have to use code names for the fantasy names because it can't write them. So for example, Daynala, I have as Domino. And then Mouser is pizza, because domino and pizza are words that are never going to come up. I have another character that's going to be introduced. His name is Sif, and he's going to be Skittle. And then the big bad, whose name I'm not totally sold on, but right now is Metalock, and his code name is going to be Telephone. So, for anyone out there who has problems, Google Voice to Text is pretty solid for being able to write stuff. It's a challenge, it doesn't always work, and sometimes I find myself spending 2 minutes trying to, like, get a sentence to come out right, and it's kind of frustrating, and at that point I usually do just, you know, type it out on the phone. but that's not ideal for me. But, you know, anyways, I'm going to get back to writing, and then when I'm done, I'm going to do another one of these, and we will have a talk about how the first day of NaNoWriMo went. Back later. Alright, it is now 5:33 in the morning, and I just hit 1,633 words. So, I've technically reached the minimum goal for the day. I am going to stop for now, but I'll probably write some more when I get home. I'm just not sure exactly how I want this conversation to go. So basically, the idea I had was that the elves don't ever really leave Elfhome and haven't in a very, very, very long time. So the only money they had to give Mouser when he was banished was some old iron coins that they had from God knows how many generations before. Because, again, going with the Utopia, the elves don't have money. I'm going to have to keep tinkering with what's going on with their culture as it goes, because world building is just as important, and I think at some point things will head back there. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So, weird transition because I had a coughing fit. But anyways, I introduced Sif into the story. He basically paid their bill because he tried to pay the bill with these iron coins, and the money of the kingdom is going to be in rings. So the meal was 4 copper rings. They had no copper rings, only iron coins, which aren't any good to anybody as a form of currency. So that didn't work. So Sif paid the bill because his people are, in a way, similar to elves. He is, well, right now, I'm calling them Avis. That's right. That's the name I gave them. The Avis. They're Aarakocra from D&D, basically. But they all live in a giant friggin' tree somewhere. I'm thinking like huge, like, you know, could fit a good portion of New York, like a neighborhood of New York inside of this tree. Fantasy, gotta love it. But, drink, 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 How I Met Your Mother. So, train of thought caught. So Sif pays their bill, and that's basically where I left off with it. They talked a little bit. He introduced himself, they introduced themselves. That's about it. I'm not sure exactly how I want the conversation to go from here, because I'm not exactly sure what everybody's motivations are in this moment, so that's something I'm going to have to figure out over the next couple hours, and I'll probably write more. But technically, I have achieved the goal for the day of 1,600 words. Usually, I try to do 2,000 is what I'm going to try to do. What I usually, but what I'm going to try to do is 2,000 words a day, which I have achieved before for a couple weeks straight. But this is the first novel that I will have completed. I have never completed one. I have lots of beginnings. I think the farthest I got was like 24,000 words. And then it all went downhill because of a lost hard drive. The saddest feeling in the world. Back up your stuff. But anyways, day 1 of NaNoWrimo's going pretty good so far. Well, it's over for me, because this is going to be the last video that I record for this and post it. If there's any updates on what I do today, they'll be in tomorrow's. But, yeah, so far so good. Y'all have a good day. Let me know how you're doing with your project. I'd be glad to hear about it and talk about your experience. And, yeah, I appreciate you watching and coming by the channel and all that good stuff. Have a good one.